the Concerto for Hero, a harp tune. Can you give a sample from it?
So this is the one.
It's a piano. It's a full piano, or sometimes
it's just piano.
Piano, yeah.
Strings, timpani.
Strings.
A little bit of woodwinds.
And it will be in the game too, or it's quite good.
This was fun. This was actually, I'll tell you, one of the.
It's a little bit like in a barish, you know, in a bar at the beginning. Dun, 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 dun. A little bit, you know, Gershwin, maybe Gershwin. You played some songs from Gershwin in Budapest, a little bit.
You know, Gershwin actually, you know, his parents were Russian. They came from Russia, and so Gershwin, his sound actually. If you really listen to Gershwin, there's a lot of influence of Russian music because he grew up in a Russian household, and if Gershwin happened to be born, if the parents missed the boat to America, he would have ended up being a great Russian composer. So there's definitely a lot of Russian sound in the Gershwin Piano Concerto, the Porgy and Bess. You know, even parts of the Rhapsody in Blue. There's a kind of a Russian glamour
in the music,
yeah. So yeah, I could see you could see that.
Just in the beginning. After that, it's maybe a little bit of a heaven theme. The Green Force maybe appeared in a various way, you know.
Oh, the
and on the piano middle.
Yeah. In the concerto.
Yeah, I mean in a slower style, no? A little bit.
I'll tell you this.
A little bit, no?
Right here?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
To me, this was influence of the Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto. Right there. But this right over here was let me see. Some of this music is influenced by classical Armenian music. Komitas, Bagdasarian, Khachaturian. There's a lot of great Armenian classical music from the late 19th century, early 20th century. That's not really popular in America because we don't have the publishing. Nobody's publishing it here. But because
marketing.
Some of our best friends are Armenian, I'm always exposed to this beautiful Armenian sound. So in this piano concerto, you're right. It's probably a little bit of Gershwin, a little bit of Rachmaninoff, a little bit of Armenian romantic classical piano music.
And it will be in the game too. It will be in the game, or it will show in concerts, or it will be in the game too. Like was the theme for Hero 6, the piano theme. What was the? You know, there was a theme.
Yes, it sounds like the Moonlight Sonata.
Not just sounds like, but similar. The two piano themes in Heroes 6 and one in this. And you played it all through full.
Yes, this one.
This record is from you.
The funny thing about this one is, the piano part is really hard actually, but I had to do it in one take.
Oh,
I couldn't just do the opening and the record. So
for practicing.
Literally, we had to do it. It took 2 days just for me to get one good performance, all the way from the beginning all the way to the end, because it's pretty difficult actually. But because it's so in my fingers now, I'm beginning to do it at my concerts now. So I have a concert in 2 weeks. I'll be playing this. I did this with Jagged, the dance company. I did this in a couple of months ago in Colorado. So this is a piece that for me is very good to play live.
Cool. It's almost have a soul, if I can say.
Yeah, it is. It's like you don't need the orchestra on this. You can just play it up by itself, and it sounds pretty good. So this is one of the pieces that I really want to start. Even if Heroes 7 is a big game, or not as big as Heroes 3, I still want to play this piece.
It's
and
quite
yeah, I'd like to play it.
And with the pole dance, it was masterful, I think.
So if anybody comes to any of my concerts in the next 3 years, they will probably hear this.
A must, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, from a piano point of view, it's a nice piece to play. It feels good to the hands. You know, it does a
It's
lot
not
of
hard, not
lot of.
difficult.
It's hard, but you know, but it's hard. But it also it's exactly how piano players are trained to play.
Oh,
It has all the things in it that you want to be able to play if you're a pianist. It's like if you're a singer. If you're a trained singer, you always want to do a song that has the beautiful high notes, right? Because you want to show how you can do those high notes. This piece has the same thing. It has all the things that piano players like to do: the arpeggios, the big octaves, the soft melodies, the tremolos in the left hand. It has everything for a piano player. So anyway, so yeah, I like this.
Okay, the next song is the Elven Coronation. You said something about it before. It's a quite unique musical style. It has got many fans said that it's quite strange. That what is it? The Turkish clarinet. But I think it fits really well because it has got a almost like a strengthened mood for the wood elves, not just the woody wood themes from Heroes 5. It was quite good, but now almost like has a great potential for rise from the elves. It has got a Turkish flute or a clarinet part. Many fans criticize almost on the official page, but I think it fits well because this song maybe shows the more personal in the from the beginning until the middle part, more personal, and also the more fireful side, the more calmful side of that. It's a contradiction, but maybe I
no,
think
you're right. I think on this one, sometimes you know it's sometimes when you're doing soundtrack music. You want the beginning to sound like the end because it has to loop, and sometimes you don't want to do that. You want it to be the opposite.
So you not begin with the beginning, sometimes begin with the end.
Yeah, so like I do a lot of work for
or compose the end after
for games, and they're saying make sure that it always is kind of the same music, and even when it ends, it begins again, and it can't be like this. It
must be a full circle.
Yeah, very, very consistent. On this piece, like I said, Julien Perrault said, "Do whatever you want." So we decided, like, let's go from here all the way up to here in this piece, and try to really make it change a lot. And so the way it ends is completely opposite of how it starts. So that was a really fun thing.
I feel that too. I really think it's really quite good, really fresh again.
Oh, thank you very much. And the thing is, you know, I know some people,
but sometimes criticize some people because it's too
okay,
Arabic, because the Elf is not academy, you know. But no, I think not.
I get it, yeah.
I think not, because it's quite fit with the mood. I almost can imagine the woods around it, you know, and the wood houses.
Well, people don't know what the Elves really play in the woods.
Yeah.
But yeah, the song starts off with a Greek, also Greek singing. So you go look. No, it's actually it's a Greek singer here in Los Angeles, and she's not an opera singer. She's a more like what you like an ethnic singer. She sings like folk songs and.
It's a little bit, it's not an operatic style. It's more an ethnic style.
We talked about, sometimes when you're doing something like this, if you're using people who are too trained, like it sounds too classical. It sounds too perfect. So you need to, this classical musicians and everything they do is, it's very high level, and there's a perfection to it. But then there's another group of musicians that are more like, I would say, like, what do you call it? More, not ethnic musicians, but when they are more folk.
More traditional, national.
Yeah, they're traditional.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't go to school, so their training is not from professionals. Their training is from their parents or from their village or from whatever. So it's not about perfection. It's more about the style. So in
and
this
the love
one,
for the music and
so we wanted to give this one more of a world feel, not having it like perfection that would be in classical music. So, yeah, so that's how that piece
was. And who was the professional for the Turkish clarinet?
Yeah, Turkish clarinet. Turkish clarinet. It's actually very interesting.
One of your friends.
The style, you can't even write those notes. What you have to do is let them improvise.
Because, I feel that the improvisation almost
just
can
like,
feel.
Just improvise a little bit.
Quite strange. I think it's really good. It's not feel a failure around it.
But in the last part of the song, we needed a voice. I kind of wanted to use like a female rock and roll voice. I wanted something that just was like just screaming like Janis Joplin, actually.
Yeah, the end and the beginning is the same voice.
No. The opening is a Greek singer here in LA. Yes. The ending is Rob King.
Really?
People know that really? Rob King started off as a rock and roll singer when he was like 11 or 12.
But it's not a female voice. It's really.
No. But Rob has a very high voice. Rob has a voice that's very similar to George Michael. And so we couldn't find a female singer that had this rock and roll sound, but we just let go. So Rob recorded it himself. So that's Rob King's.
And nothing modifying, no modifying for the voice. It's a pure original voice.
Yeah, no, it's all pure Rob King, and
no modifying.
He layered his voice.
Oh, I see.
He recorded the part over and over again, so it's him singing maybe 3-4 times, and it's layered on top of each other.
It's really good. A little bit feel more like you heard the Avatar soundtrack. You heard?
Actually, I did, but I don't remember it. But I know the guy.
Don't remember all, but maybe.
It's funny that you see that. One of my friends is the man who created the language for James Cameron. He's the man who actually wrote the Avatar language. He's a professor of language over here at University of Southern California, and sometimes he comes to my
his name?
Yeah. So anyway, Anyway, so it's
what is his name? Or you can. What is his name?
Oh,
this is Rob King. It's quite strange.
Here's Rob right here.
This is Rob King. It's quite strange.
It's just singing, like that.
Well, maybe, it's a quite high pitch,
It's very high, but Rob can sing really, really, really high. Like if you heard George Michael, Rob can sing.
Sometimes Michael Jackson too, so it's quite.
Yeah, that's true. Rob is actually a great singer. I have been asking Rob.
So he was a singer and maybe played on drums or guitar.
No, he doesn't. Rob is only a lead singer. So he doesn't. When he's playing in his band, he plays keyboards and then he sings. But I've been asking Rob really for 20 years to sing on a soundtrack, and he wouldn't do it. Sometimes he doesn't like to be on interviews.
Make interviews.
But I've been asking him, it's like, why don't you sing on one of the soundtracks? So finally, after 20 years of doing Heroes, he finally decided to put his voice. Rob sings twice on this.
Yeah, we will further go in there almost.
He sings on the Wizard's Waltz.
But before that, the journeyman's encounter happens. The journeymen arrive here.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost can see the things you want to tell about through these songs, almost from the title and almost with the melody itself. You send the journeyman to the city with news who may be ambushed or rushed by between the road and between the capital of the city, and by some rebels or went to a trap. It is go darker and darker. The beginning is a lighter side, the classical fairy tale kind of good side, I think, in the beginning, and then almost it goes darker, and at the end it's a little bit to war, no? No, and how you begin to compose this really white and black, almost I could say white and black style. What was the instruments? Where were the instruments for that?
These instruments, we use a lot of folk instruments, folk flutes, like Irish flutes. We use these kind of drums that you don't see in classical orchestras. They would be used more like for little folk bands and.
It's a little bit of child music, a little bit. It's not in a bad way, I can say. But
they're rough little drums with little. The whole idea on this one, I was thinking of.
Maybe it's for the story. I think for a campaign, maybe for a cutscene. You know, cutscene one.
Yeah,
like, I can remember.
Honestly, I don't even know where. I don't know where they're going to use it. But my idea was this. If you went to some magical forest and you had all these little people, like little fairies, little magical people, kind of like
sprites, pixies.
What's the ring? Like hobbits, actually. Yeah. I was thinking of little magical hobbits.
Yeah.
They all live in trees, and they make their own drums out of whatever they can find. Yeah. And they
it's a little bit similar to the Howard short. It's a in the beginning it's a hope and everything is good.
Yes.
Calm. We can live there forever.
And then they get angry.
Yeah.
and then
your dark side appeared.
Exactly.
We fall into the dark side.
We wanted to have a village feel, as if these are kind of a magical group of people living in trees, and they're playing. The flutes also on this are all they're wood flutes. So sometimes when you use flutes
maybe in the folks
metal or wood, it's a completely different sound. So we really wanted something that sounded like as if everybody who's playing in this music made their own instruments. So it's you don't want to use a perfect orchestra. You want to use definitely more ethnic handmade instruments. So that was the feeling on this. And I was just thinking of people who live in trees, like these villages and trees, and they're all getting together, and they're
waiting for the journey, man.
And then something happens, and then they all have to get together, and they're gonna fight. So that was kind of how that was a feeling.
Some attack. Oh, bad.
Yeah,
bad ending.
So your imagination is very good. It's like your mind is like my mind.
Maybe I have to think that.
Yes, it's good. But I'm glad, really, because that was almost exactly like the feeling I wanted to have in this. So your brain is very very intuitive. That you can
connectivity. Yeah. But many people said about the music that it connects the people, so it's a real connection. It's through the internet.
I like glasses. What kind of glasses are those?
I don't know. I bought it in January or February this year.
Oh, really?
It's quite new one.
Are you nearsighted or farsighted? I mean, do you see far or near?
Oh yeah, sorry. I can see near. It is for far. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay,
you?
So you're like me. I'm nearsighted.
Connectivity.
So, anytime people, if you ever see me wearing glasses,
same.
Like these,
we are the same in this too.
These are real glasses. I actually need these to see.
Oh,
they're not just sunglasses. All my glasses that I use.
I thought just for sun, but
yeah, because I can see maybe from to here, and after this, everything is blurry. I don't know who you are unless I'm wearing my glasses.
I see. I see.
But which is a good thing, because if I'm doing a concert, I can see my hands and I can see the keys.
Oh,
but if I look at the audience, they're just blurry.
Oh.
So I don't.
So you didn't see us in Budapest.
Yeah, no. So but the thing is, I don't get nervous then, because I can focus on just my hands and what I'm doing.
The main thing, the piano.
If somebody's in the audience and their foot is moving, because sometimes you're doing a concert and somebody's leg is crossed and their foot is going like this, And if they're in the front
and it don't bother you because you can't see it.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I can totally focus.
It's a quite good thing in a matter of way.
So my glasses are real. So I just wanted you to know that. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, next station, the Wizard Waltz. You said about something good before it. The exactly most magical song in the Heroes 7 by far, what I heard for this time. What the other song is good too, but this is really kind of the wizard in magical way, because maybe it is for the wizards, but we can't know. The beautiful Gregory Man voice from the song beginning and the end is from your friend, if I know well. This is Drop King for sure. And how you work with Drop, if I know where he's a singer, you said that too, but this is the first vocal part, and the other was in the Elven songs, and this is the first for Hero soundtrack. Yeah, how did he did this? How did he did this quite hard song? It is a really deep male voice. It's not the high type, not high style before. It is a deep kind of style, and also this song have a return of a favorable and memorable Heroes 5 Academy or what is the there was not just the Academy, that was the Inferno Succubus, I don't know her name now, but and it resembles to it, and this song had a feeling for me. It's somehow new in the beginning and the middle, and fresh, and with this is a remember of Heroes 5 team, sometimes Heroes 3 Tower team remembered with the flute, violin and flute way, you know, the little bit of Mozart and Beethoven kind of stuff. It's quite good. I think it's a really almost a build up in different styles. You know, male voice, a little bit remember of the Heroes 3 and 5 styles, and a little bit a new fresh, in a little bit a magical Arabian way. It's quite good. Must be hard for composite now. It's almost built a new kind of style of house, break by break, you know.
That's so this one, Rob is a big fan of 7 Years in Tibet. John Williams with Yo-Yo Ma. So Rob and I have a very good friend named Fang Chu, who is one of the best cellists in Los Angeles. She's from China. She went to music school when she was 9 years old in China. Literally, she moved out of her parents' house when she was 9. Went to the conservatory in Shanghai, and then when she was 15, she moved to California to go to University of Southern California. And I met her when her and I were, she was like 18, 19, and I was in my 20s. Her and I were music teachers at a music conservatory. So her and I became friends. Rob and I have known her for many, many years.
And she haven't worked a Heroes game before?
She played. It might have been
maybe 5.
It might have been Heroes 5. Yeah, Heroes 5.
Might be, yeah.
So anyway, so Rob, one of the things that Rob's always wanted to try to do something in a flavor of is 7 Years in Tibet with Yo-Yo Ma. It's like, okay, we already had a great cellist here in LA. We already knew who we wanted to be in it. So I was listening to 7 Years in Tibet, and there was a kind of a European, like a sad waltz, almost like
it's a really waltz style, but in a different way, not in the VII kind of way.
Yeah, it's something I just felt like you would have heard in Europe.
But in Arabian style, most of
a little bit of that. So anyway, so it was influenced by 7 Years in Tibet, Yo-Yo Ma, but we needed an opening. So I thought, okay, you know what I wanted to do, since it was 7 Years in Tibet was the inspiration, why not make the opening sound like a monk? And we were already going to use the Greek language, so why not a Greek monk? You know, when you go to Greece, sometimes there's these islands that there's these monasteries, and only monks live there.
It's almost
So
kind of like that the wizard sings on the background behind the curtains, or and it feels like that. Yeah, the monk, yeah,
okay, so
preparing for the spells, you know.
We wanted like the opening, not to have a man singing, but not to be like an opera singer.
A little bit of Gregory, or maybe some friends
yes,
said that.
Yes, like a real man who happens to be a monk, but also has to sing every day in the monastery. So it couldn't be too perfect. It couldn't be too operatic. So Rob, we had somebody else do it, but it was so difficult that Rob decided to redo the part. So
I see.
I actually, it's so funny. We had somebody else sing it. They recorded it, and it just we couldn't get it to sound like just right. So in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m, Rob went and recorded it by himself. He just went into the studio, played it. He learned the part. The next day, he calls me up and he says, "By the way, I put my voice in there instead." I go, "Oh, you're kidding." So I listened to it the next day, and it's great. So anyway, so it's Rob King singing at the beginning. Fong Chu plays cello in the solo, and then
a different style of cello, because, or just the same cello, but he plays it differently, because there is a faster, a slower.
No, she plays very high.
Oh,
it's all cello solo.
On the same cello, not different style.
Yeah, no, it's all on the same cello, and it actually sounds like a violin.
Yes,
so
firstly, I almost thought that. Yeah.
That is how good she is, because for cello to play so high and perfectly in tune, the technique has to be perfect. Anyway, so she Fang played the cello solo. Originally, it was supposed to be for violin and cello, like a duet. The violinist was working with Placido Domingo that week. He couldn't come in. So I asked Fang, "Can you just play the violin part, but play it very, on the cello very high?" She said, "Sure." So she learned his part and her part, and she put it all, she made it all one part. So it's all cello solo with Rob King and then a Greek lady who comes in the middle. The part that sounds like Heroes 5 is a melody called Dies Irae. I've used it a lot in Heroes 3, Heroes 5. The reason why I love it is because it's also one of Rachmaninoff's favorite songs. Rachmaninoff used it in his piano concertos, his symphonies, the bells, the Isle of the Dead. Franz Liszt used it. Mozart used it.
You have the copyright for it.
Yeah, Brahms used it. Almost everybody has used it because it's the oldest song in the Roman Catholic Church. It's the song for the dead. So
it was an influence.
I love using it. So it's in here too. So it's not my tune. It's the Roman Catholic.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's quite good. I didn't know that it's a historical song almost, because so in the past.
Yeah, it's almost 1,000. It's one of the oldest tunes in Western civilization. So it belongs to the Pope.
The rights at the Pope, must buy it. And last one song, if I heard in the past, Tinkering with the Doors. It's a little bit strange. Maybe it's a spoiler now, because
okay.
This is just another melody, but I can almost see in virtual 3D because Tinkering with the Doors. Almost feel it's around me, work with them in the mines, digging and dancing. Sometimes it has got some musical elements, almost like from comedy movies or films. What maybe we can hear in comedies. What were the instruments you use it for? Because it's almost really what can I say? Play with instruments, play really in the children way almost. It's quite good. Maybe they can appear in expansion, because sadly there will be no in the in the vanilla of the game, the base game, you know, there will be maybe in an expansion, but we will see. But it's quite good. It's a really fresh work too, I think. Who were the instrument workers, the professionals, and who was the, almost I can say, the dwarf singers, you know? And sometimes maybe a hammer and a hammer in the work.
Okay, so first of all, the influence in this is a couple of things. It is a little cartoony.
Yeah,
if you were watching old
bit.
like American cartoons of like the 1930s, 1940s, the Warner Brothers, where the cat is chasing the dog, and
almost in the
an influence
bunny.
of that.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like have you ever watched Tom and Jerry?
Yeah, Tom and Jerry.
Or,
That's
Bugs
for sure.
Bunny?
Yeah.
And people and they're
Many Hungarian musics behind the scenes in the Tom and Jerry, you know, Hungarian.
Yeah.
It's quite good. Yeah.
The other thing is, the other influence of the orchestrations was Prokofiev, the Prokofiev Third Piano Concerto.
He was Russian too, yeah. Russian.
Oh yeah, Prokofiev, Sergei Prokofiev.
Yeah.
He was a little bit after Rachmaninoff. He's a little bit younger than Stravinsky. He's sort of, there's Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev, Stravinsky. So Prokofiev sort of in the middle. If you listen to Prokofiev Piano Concerto Number 3, the third movement, you're gonna hear the influence in this. So the piano playing on this is me playing. I used xylophones. We had xylophones. We had glockenspiels, string spizzicatos. We had like male choirs, like just grunting, and we wanted it to feel like
almost we feel on the mind. I don't know.
Yeah, like little dwarves.
Dwarves, in the town, dwarf town, or I don't know.
Yes, and they're working really hard. They're working together, but they're odd little people. You know what I mean? So they have to have an odd, weird sound, but they also have to sound like they're working hard too.
Yes.
And then and they work together, and they're just that was the thing. It was kind of creating like a hardworking, odd-looking little dwarfs, but they're very diligent. They keep working. They're very focused. And so anyway, Prokofiev was the influence for the orchestrations and a little bit of the cartoon music of Warner Brothers.
And at the end, near the end, sometimes a little bit. It remembered me for the fortress theme, the dwarves in Heroes 5. No, sometimes when it slows down, when it slows down, you know, a little bit.
Yeah,
there is a theme in the fortress theme in the Heroes 5, if you remember. Then, and in the underground terrain in Heroes 5, and then and this is almost like they go home in the underground. They go back. The work they go back.
The other influence is
with the many bags in the backs.
Yes,
and, you know,
right.
and the, what it is called?
The things that they've been digging up.
Yeah.
But if people like the ending of this, listen to Totentants by Franz Liszt.
Franz.
Totentants has a similar orchestration to this. Totentants is piano concerto by Franz Liszt, and it's also based on Dies Irae tune. So whenever you have a chance, listen to it. It's a fantastic piece.
I will listen. Yeah. It was the influence.
Yes, and even Franz Liszt was doing. The ending was kind of influenced by him. So yeah,
I will hear it for
sure. Hungarian music, great Hungarian music.
Yeah, and there will be, I think, more new songs. There will be some real evil themes and terrain themes and town themes and everything themes and campaign and main themes as well. I think. You finished all of the themes, or you work now too? Many kind new themes for Heroes 7, or you just finished?
Can I tell you a little bit about the Devil's Cauldron?
Oh, you have the Devils. Maybe they will be in the base.
Have you heard this one?
No. Ooh, it's really freaky, devilish. A little bit similar to Heroes 3, maybe Inferno, maybe a little bit, yeah.
So
it's quite good.
We call this one the Devil's Cauldron. And
what's Cauldron? Oh, Cauldron. Oh, where you? Yeah. Okay, I know. No, yeah. Where you cook or cook? Yeah. Witches.
You know, they're magical.
The witch doctors. Yeah.
Yeah. All those witches that live in the forest, and they want to make magical potions. Yeah. This one I really like this one because.
I hope there will be in the basic, because there is a now there is a vote about Dungeon or Inferno will be in the base game, so I hope there will be. I voted for the Inferno, so I am with you. I like Dungeon too, but
I tell you what, this one it was the first time I ever did a I get to meet a lot of people who play Heroes games. You know, they write letters, and some of them, like you and me, like we become friends. Yeah. One of my friends is a Greek guy named Stamatis, who lives in Greece.
I see him also in YouTube, no? YouTube, maybe
YouTube. Yeah, he's 18 years old.
He's everywhere.
He's been playing Heroes since he was, I think, 6 years old. So his whole life, he's always played the game. He knows my music. He's also a very good composer and an artist. So he wants to become a game composer in the future. You know,
he can learn from you.
Yeah, so he's going to college now. He's a very good pianist. He has a lot of great ideas for music. So I said to him, I go, look, I'm going to be doing a project this year. Why don't you send me some ideas, like even if it's like a 5-note melody, and if I can, I'm gonna put it in one of my songs for the new Heroes soundtrack. This way, it's
collaboration.
It's sort of like if I was the director, and I said, why don't you send me one of your paintings, and I'm gonna put it in the background, just so it's in the shot, and you'll be part of the project. So I said, he goes, oh, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to do. I go, why don't you send me 3 different ideas? Just play them on the piano, whatever. So he sent me this one tune. Da na 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 da na 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 na. I go, okay, I like that. You know what? I'm going to use that, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in part of one of my pieces, and you'll be part of it. So that little melody is his.
It's quite
and this way, it kind of starts his career as a soundtrack composer. It's his melody, it's my orchestration, and it's the first time I've ever actually collaborated with a Heroes fan.
It's really kind. It's really nice.
It's really nice because I want to.
He knows now that it will.
Oh no, he knows. Yeah, he's been in it from the very beginning because he sent me 3 different ideas, and I picked the best one. I go, okay, that's one. This last one I'm going to use. So the official title for this one is called Stamatis Infernus. So because his name is Stamatis, so we called it Stamatus Infernus. So he's an 18-year-old, and he's part of the Heroes soundtrack. So I just wanted you to know.
Vote for Inferno, everyone.
Yeah, Stamatus Infernus.
Yeah, for Stamatus too. It's quite good. Yeah. and you finished the soundtrack in whole, or you make some more?